Hi guys, this is AC Gamer back with another video on Tower of Fantasy. So I have a new recording setup as well as streaming setup because I am planning on streaming. However, it's making me feel a little bit uncomfortable whilst I'm recording this video right now. I just feel like I'm out of my element. So whilst I'm recording this, if the audio feels a little bit scuffed, I'd like to have a quick feedback on my audio quality as well as my presenting skills, because like I said, I do feel uncomfortable. So if it turns out in my video whilst I'm speaking, it feels like I don't have confidence whilst I'm talking, I'd like to just hear feedback on it. I will try and improve that as I carry on making content in this way and manner, but hopefully whilst I'm recording this video it is clear enough for you guys. Anyways, let's get right into the main focus of this video. So there is one thing that Tower of Fantasy needs to absolutely fix, because it will make newer players actually start hating the game. So there is a system in this game that tries to push newer players into the highest level as fast as possible. However, that system is actually hurting the newer players, and the newer players might feel uncomfortable whilst they're playing the game and feel very demoralized because the bosses or the mobs they're going against are too strong, just because they've been pushed to this level that they haven't really deserved, because they don't have the right gear, they don't have the right power to actually challenge this. And as they're trying to just do daily stuff, it will be nearly impossible for them to do, or it might just take a lot longer than it should. So this needs to be absolutely fixed. Now there is a Reddit post where the person actually mentioned this as well, so I'm going to just quickly reference this as well. So I will be showing you guys some screenshots. I should hopefully leave a link to this post as well. So it says, this is the only game where I feel I'm getting weaker the more I play, and not the opposite. So that is actually very true, even with me right now. So if you guys don't know, I do spend in Tower of Fantasy. However, I only spend to get one copy of a new character, so I'm not necessarily spending all my money every single month, or spending 200 every single month. I have spent over 500, I think, which is a little bit bad in my opinion. I don't want to spend that much. However, even though I spent 500, I basically only used about £100 worth of it, because I'm just saving my materials for future characters in the future, so I can just summon for them, get one copy. So essentially, even though I am a quote unquote, not whale, actually a small spender, light spender, I still feel like the mobs I'm going against are still relatively stronger than I would have liked, because as you progress in the game, you want to feel like you're actually making progress. You want to feel like you can actually challenge some bosses and make it feel a little bit easier. Obviously, if you're a whale and you have a C6 gear, C6 weapon, every character you will use a C6, then yes, you probably won't run into this issue. No, you definitely won't run into this issue. But if you're a light spender, free to play player, this is still going to be an issue that you guys will experience, especially if you're a newer player as well. So I'm a casual player, this is what the person says, about 28k CP at level 60. Not gonna lie, that CP is actually quite decent, especially because it doesn't seem like this person started initially when the game came out, and it looks like they got pushed to this level based on the double XP server event. If you guys don't know, if you start on a new server, the game is going to try and push you to that level as fast as possible, to the highest level possible in that server as fast as possible. So they will give you 500% more XP, and with that they push you to level 60 within like a couple of days. And that is actually bad, because you won't have the appropriate gear, the best gear, to actually challenge some of the bosses or mobs you're going against. Even the mobs that are meant to be weak will be a very huge challenge for newer players, and this system needs to be improved. And I'm not gonna lie, the system in where the level for the mobs increase, I do feel like that's an appropriate system. However, the way it was implemented definitely needs to be changed and improved. So even though this person is running some of the supposedly meta characters, they're still finding it very hard to actually challenge some of the mobs. Even the normal animals that's are meant to be easy to beat, I still get that level scaling, and they do gain a lot of HP and become a lot more tanky, and you're unable to beat it within like 10 seconds. You need to spend some, actually I could beat in 10 seconds, well 5 seconds actually, but I'm not sure if newer players will be able to beat that within 10 seconds. And obviously if you're going to challenge some elite bosses, you're going to be spending a lot longer than actually required. Now, one thing I would like to say, so this person also references Genshin Impact's implementation of the level scaling as well. Usually I don't like to talk about Genshin Impact whilst talking about Tower of Fantasy, because obviously a lot of people don't like talking about Genshin because it seems like on comparison too much, but in this context context, I do feel like it is appropriate to reference Genshin Impact. However, the implementation is actually done perfectly. So the higher the mobs, the more loot you actually get. So as you're powering up, you're getting stronger. The game actually rewards you for your strength. Whilst in Tower Fantasy, you're not actually rewarded for your strength. In fact, it feels like you're being punished. So obviously the mobs gets tankier, the HP is increased, and obviously in Tower Fantasy they have this shield system where you need to shatter the shield before you can deal good amount of damage. And now with the additional HP they have, it's just going to be taking a lot longer to actually, beat some of the weaker mobs, quote unquote. And yeah, like in Genshin Impact, they have implemented where the drops even becomes better the higher level you become. So this basically reduces the amount of farm you need to do. However, in Tower Fantasy, there is no increase in drop rates or increase in drops quality or quantity, sorry. So especially in World Boss, which I do like this game mode, I think World Boss is actually very, very good. However, there is definitely a huge flaw with that, because obviously as you level up, the HP becomes higher for the World Boss. I think that's appropriate. The scaling needs to be like difficulty with the World Boss. However, I do feel like the resources or the rewards we get should also increase as we're getting stronger as well, so that farming becomes less what's called tedious as well, and we also feel rewarded as we power up. Even though I'm complaining about this right now, I don't really see a big issue right now for myself, but just because I spend and my power right now, I am reaching about 35 KCP, which is actually good. Most free-to-play players, there's actually lucky free-to-play players in this game that have like 40 KCP or 30 or above 35 KCP, just because they got lucky whilst they're summoning and now they have like a C5 character, so it makes it a lot easier for them. However, there's also unlucky free-to-play players who don't have the best luck in the game and don't have the best gear, and they are finding it hard to challenge some of the mobs that should be relatively weaker. So I do want to speak up for them as well, and I also want to speak up for future players that decides to drop into the game. Because imagine this: you enter a new server, or not a new server, you enter a server, the game pushes you to level 60 within 5 days, and now you have like 15 KCP. You're not strong enough to challenge any single mob. You're going to be finding it very, very hard to farm, very hard to progress in this game. And I do feel like this needs to be changed, because if free-to-play players, if newer players see this type of stuff and they feel very, very stressed, and as they're playing the game, they might become demoralized and they might start hating the game and decide to quit. So obviously, to say a game is successful, they need to be able to get new players every single week, or every single time. But if every single time new players try to drop into the game and they instantly see the system, instantly feel very underpowered because the game pushes them to this level that they don't need right now, then they are absolutely going to drop the game. And obviously you can't rely on a game being successful if the only players right now are going to be free whales. However, in the future, more whales, or not whales, but more spenders will probably drop as time goes on, so they need to keep replenishing the players. But if you're unable to replenish the players, the game will steadily become like the CN server. Right now I do have like a C5 character, or C4 or C5 character. That makes it a lot easier as I'm challenging mobs. I don't feel the full force of this effect or full force of this issue. However, the main issue I find is if you're going to level up the characters or scale the characters or the mobs based on my level, then I do feel like you should give appropriate rewards as well, like increasing the drop rates for Matrix, or increasing the drop rates for SSR Matrix in World Boss. I do feel like that is something they should have implemented. Obviously within 5 days there is no way if a newer player will be able to get a full gold gear. So if you're going to try and push players to be at their high level within a couple of days, then also give them good resources. So there should be like an event for newer players as well, where you're giving like free giving free golden gear. But I do feel like they do need to implement a system that helps the newer players, because newer players will definitely not like the system. In fact, if I enter the game and I got pretty unlucky with my roles, or I just started and within 5 days I got to level 60 and I'm unable to even challenge any of the little mobs whilst I'm walking across the map, then it will instantly drop the game. I will instantly drop the game. So if I'm feeling like this, I do feel very, very sad, or do feel like newer players will feel very, very underpowered as they are playing the game. So I would like to hear your opinion on this topic, on this issue. Do you think it's a big issue? Because I personally think it is a big issue. If newer players don't like the game, then how is the game going to succeed or survive? You do need to get newer players every single time in this game. So yes, tell me down in the comment section what you guys think about this video as well. Like I said, I would like to have some feedback based on my audio quality as well as my presenting skills in this video. Like I said, I will be streaming very, very soon. Unfortunately, I actually left my monitor at home, which kind of sucks. Well, not at home, I'm at parents' house, sorry. So now I can't really stream properly, but I do have a new setup that should make it possible for me to stream right now. So I probably will stream within next 5 days or stuff like that. So it'll probably be Tower of Fantasy or Genshin Impact. Oh yeah, on Genshin Impact. So if you guys didn't see my recent post on YouTube, Tower of Fantasy actually got me into playing Genshin Impact. So I will be making a separate video talking about how they actually did that. But there was other factors as well that maybe, you know, drop back into Genshin Impact, but mainly Tower of Fantasy had a big impact on my decision to, you know, go back into Genshin. And obviously right now with the Genshin rewards for, you know, anniversary being lackluster, yeah, I am second guessing my decision, but I am going to be a casual player whilst I play Genshin as well. Anyways, it's been your boy AC Gamer, and I'm out.